All right, what's up, cyber traders, and welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting this Monday, September 14th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, guys. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. We have class on the horizon coming up 3:05 p.m. Eastern time. We post the announcement just before in the chat board. Phase 1, lesson number 2 lined up this afternoon. Great to see all of us here. Pat, David, Jeff, Chuck, Bonnie, Dale, all of you guys right down below. Great to see you all, loud and clear from all, and let's hop into it right from there. So, guys, we ended up seeing the Dow push up pretty nicely today off the lows, up 350 at least right now going into this meeting. Penn National Gaming. No surprise here. They have a lot of positive news and hype behind them. And with that, pushing up pretty nicely. And I had said earlier going into the meeting, or going into the afternoon rather, that, it wouldn't shock me at the least, not to say it's going to happen, but, with the way this is trending, it broke over 63, pushed up off there pretty nicely. It's rounding off 64 right now. I said to you guys here in the chat board, it wouldn't shock me at least if in a healthy market where we end up seeing the Dow and the S&P, squeeze up nicely, if Penn can benefit off that. Wouldn't shock me if it ends up breaking a new all-time high before the markets close. So all-time high today, 65.79. You see back from Thursday of last week, 10th. So for right now, it still has a little bit of a ways to go, but I have no problem just keeping this on our watch list going into this afternoon. But with that in mind, guys, we have class, like I said, continuing today, phase 1, lesson 2. So I'm going to join class as soon as this meeting's finished up. I want to just jump right from top to bottom. SAVA, S-A-V-A. This is almost like a bit of a hammer. You could see, at least from the pre-market pump, ended up popping and running off of like 450 all the way up towards just over 9, pulled back down, at least going into the market open. So nonetheless, it ended up pulling back further after 9:30, but to see this drop all the way down to, 550 low of the day, pretty much a little bit underneath pre-market support, to see it squeeze back up and be a little bit underneath its open price, its opening print, roughly around that 715, pretty interesting. I mean, it's trading 124 million shares. So for a stock trading that much, and to see it make that pre-market pump up, dump back down, kind of making that second little, short-lived run here, it really wouldn't shock me for this to kind of just exhaust out and kind of just maybe make like a 50-cent pop, but otherwise not be nearly as worth it compared to how it looks. It looks incredible right now. I've seen this go from 620, got halted on the way up, pushing back up towards those highs right now. It looks great. But I just think that with the move that we have up and down and back up, it's had a hell of a day. So, it did exhaust out going into the afternoon. It has popped and halted and kind of squeezed back up here for us so far. Again, I'll put it on our watch list. We'll see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better, than Penn and SAVA so far. All right, Jerry here in the chat board picking up 14 cents on a fairly new IPO, XPEV. I wouldn't mind jumping to that at the end. Fausto is talking about the IMMU trade. Really quick, guys. Fausto was really harping on this short earlier on today. I mean, well, first off, rightfully so. Look at this trend right from the market open. Ended up dropping off as soon as the market opened up from roughly like 88 all the way down to 84. Otherwise, though, it's expensive. I mean, yeah, you could say that, but it was coming off news of a buyout, right? So when a company gets bought out, you'll see this big gap up on the 1-minute chart on the intraday chart. It kind of trades in this really tight range, this flattened range. So, from a zoomed out perspective, doesn't it look like that? The general rule of thumb with like these big buyouts like this is the more expensive it is and where it jumps up towards, it could trade in a bit of a higher range. We see stocks that get bought out, they open up at like, $6-7, and that range is like within pennies. Well, with an $88, $90 stock, the range was a bit bigger. So, it ended up dropping off, and it was actually a really good trade. Dropped off as soon as the market opened up down towards 84, kind of held off around there going into the afternoon. Of course, it broke under it, but obviously back over it. So perhaps we could see this begin to squeeze back up, but it's so expensive. I like the spread and liquidity check out, which is something you don't really tend to see for expensives. I guess that also is a good benefit of seeing like a buyout like this where it's really expensive, because the spreads are typically going to still be pretty tight. All right, I want to jump to VXRT because, oh my goodness. I mean, from class earlier today, I ended up hitting like one or two trades. Wasn't like the greatest morning for me. I stayed positive and, went into the afternoon with really not much to work with. And I ended up starting jumping into some trades. Nikola I was playing, Workhorse I was playing, Sorrento I was playing. And this VXRT, I was playing earlier. I jumped in for about like 15 or so cents. Jerry just got 18 cents yourself. Nice job. I'm still in this trade right now. I jumped back in rather, and I was down a few cents. I had my stop set at this point, ended up kind of pushing back up, and thankfully I'm up on this position I'm in right now. What's my average entry here? I did do like an average down. I was in from, I think, like average price at like 65 or 66. So it's squeezing up a little bit for me right now, but obviously, given the range that this stock has had today, it would be hard to not put this on our list going into the afternoon. I would say the same with this as I had said before, though, just with the last one with IMMU or with Saba rather. To see this stock trading 175 million shares up 46+%, squeezed up, pre-market after the open, dived off a bit to 750 and now bouncing. I'm not necessarily expecting, and the trade I'm in right now, I'm not expecting this to break higher going into the close. The fact it just held 750 double bottom is a pretty encouraging sign. Let's see this begin to blast over 8 here pretty soon. But yeah, VXRT, we're going to put on our list. I'm going to raise my stop on this for right now. And if this ends up diving off, I'll at least go scratch. Bonnie says VXRT has been very frustrating, and then Deborah says got out too early. So this is my my segue, my cue for all of us here, at least inside the trading room, to say, if you guys have trades, VXRT included, if you want me to go over stocks and traders talk tomorrow, guys, please let me know. Send over a quick email, send your journal, your trades right over to Josh at CTU Trading. I'm not going to use your name. I'm not going to say, the big loss you took or whatever it may have been, but just let me know so I can get a good idea as far as where you were entering. And on the side, I'll be able to help you out further. And then for all of us tuning in on social media, which I never really said welcome aboard, but welcome aboard. If you'd like to learn more about Traders Talk or perhaps VXRT, again, we'll be talking about that inside our trading room tomorrow. All right, so I kind of hopped right into this here, folks. Let's continue. We have SGMS kind of diving off right now. Fausto called this one out shortly after the market opened up. Ran nicely at least. The volume died off. This one's pulling back down pretty nicely here. Spread is a little open for the meantime. Order book somewhat filled in. 26, you could at least see some support on the bid. Dropping off, it is shortable. So for all of that, I don't mind putting this back on here for right now. Glenn says 10 VXRT trades between $6.12 and $8.15. Glenn, I hope that all leads to a positive. My belief is that that's a yes, but if so, congrats. And then, otherwise, again, for Glenn, for Deborah, for Bonnie, for all of us here, just let me know if you have any other trades, even if it's VXRT related. Just let me know any other questions on that, and we'll cover it tomorrow. It says all good. Wow, excellent. Nice job, Glenn. And Norman says 2 trades, 1 loss, 1 win. All right. Yeah, it wasn't the easiest stock, that VXRT trade, guys. It's one that we tend to trade off of news and, off of activity. So thankfully it did squeeze up as much as it did. I didn't trade the whole thing on the way up. I left a lot of money on the table, but, we'll talk about it all tomorrow. Jill, I don't know why I clicked on this one. Pretty cheap. Dropping off here after the open. All right, let's see what else we have here, folks. We'll kind of just zip through from top to bottom, just kind of quick. If there's anything that you guys see that's up or down, 10+% or more that looks good, let me know here in the chat board. NK looks pretty good, right? I mean, at the highs right now, tight spread, liquidity. It's like trading 1,900 shares per minute. So this thing needs a kick in the pants. I'll tell you that much. For right now, I'll kind of keep this on the side. I want to jump ahead. I'll get back to Sorrento here in a moment, but DraftKings, right? We saw the pop and run on DraftKings at new all-time highs right now. So goes without saying, right at the top it goes. But yeah, guys, the news. What's the news on DraftKings? You guys know? I'm not going to say it here. I want you guys to tell me. What's the news on DraftKings here? Someone said earnings just before. Not earnings. We had news with like Michael Jordan becoming, I guess, like a big endorser or like investor, so forth, however you may phrase it. That was like a week and a half ago. right? And Pat says ESPN, right? So there was news with DraftKings in relation to ESPN. I think it's like an official collaboration partnership. So with that, we saw a huge pop, finally breaking all-time highs. I was kind of hoping for this big squeeze up and run back on Friday. Didn't get it. Here we are today. So yeah, let's see what else. I know I skipped over one or two things here. Sorrento, SRNE. Ooh, maybe I got out too soon on my last trade here. I was in from 717, that line that you see on the chart. I ended up jumping in off the pop. So here it is right now, up to 750, alongside VXRT. Came out with news in relation, I believe, to COVID. I know VXRT was definitely COVID related. Sorrento, I know, has been in the past. I don't know if this was specifically this one, but they tend to move together. So that's why I kind of made my call out on Sorrento when I did, because I saw VXRT making a pretty sharp run up at the time. But that thing does have its shakes, ended up pulling back down, as is well, it is right now. You can just stop me out. Yep, just got me out of 763. Damn. All right, well, I guess it's better to see it than to come back to it, I guess, at 750. All right, let's see what else we have here on the gainer side here, guys. We have class on the horizon. 241 is the time right now, so Clovis, CLVS, we've seen this one in the past. Diving off right now. We're going to pass on that for right now. VBIV, same thing. Kind of slow. Up top, I skipped over TCS. Is this Container Store? Yeah. Pushing up to the highs. Little push. I'm going to keep it on the side here for the meantime, but don't be shocked if this one ends up getting called out later on. Check out SPAQ. I know that one's up. I don't know how much, but Bonnie says, "See, frustrating." Yeah, but I mean, I'm kind of just playing that more as a home run hit. I normally don't look to trade while I'm kind of multitasking, teaching, or like doing a session like this. So that was kind of like a home run or bust trade. I let it drop off. With SPAQ, though, pushing up nicely here, up to 1750. You could see it's pushing right up towards those highs. It's one that we've been following alongside some of the other EV stocks. So right on our list it goes. And what we'll do is break out the TradeStation matrix here, the volume histogram bar here. 1750. Order on the ask. I mean, for right now, 6400, popping in and out. Some volume filled there from earlier this afternoon. 775, perhaps the next minor level ahead. So maybe in between 1750 and 18. I know you got high of the day at 79, but 75, there was some volume filled. It kind of made that pop and drop right back down. So, I mean, just saying that could be a little bit of a level ahead. All right, let's hop over to losers list here, see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better. A bunch of stuff hard to borrow. Groupon, shortable. Wow, missed big drop off on Groupon today, I guess. From 32 essentially all the way down to, I mean, just over 28. Volume died off on this trade. For right now, I'm going to pass. I mean, it is tradable, but for right now, it's a Monday. I'm not expecting a whole lot out there going into the afternoon aside from what we have. Market seems really flat after the move up earlier this morning. Let's see. Not much really catching my eye here on this losers list. See warrants for Shell. I'll take a look at that. SHLL. I think that's another EV stock. Oops. Down 9+%. Squeaking back up. I mean, this one's a little bit more active, a little bit more volatile. Spread's more open, though. That's my only issue. The order book, that is. All right. Mike says Penn moving up higher. I'll take a look at that. Yep. Getting closer and closer there, Mike. What was that all-time high? 65, 75 or something? Yeah, 79. And then Chuck says PCG high of the day, only up 6.5, 7. I'll take it. I'll take it. It's having itself a sneaky day there, Chuck. VXRT squeaking back up there too. I just didn't want to have that dive off and for me to be down 20 cents. I come back to it during the meeting. All right, PCG. Yeah, I mean, it's looking interesting, right? The highs, and it's one that we are familiar with there, Chuck. So you know what? Good call. There we go, Mike. I appreciate that actually putting there in a text form there. So I'm going to remind myself of that later on. Yeah, all-time high for Penn. All right, folks, I'll tell you, I think that we got a good list in total. I mean, we got 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's check out the side list just before we finish it up. We got Neo, Workhorse, the whole rest of them. Workhorse, we're going to put on our list all-time highs. How can we not? I mean, like literally right now, new all-time high. So 25.50, big resistance on the ask from there, 26. Just very shaky minute by minute. Look at that thing. Ended up holding support beautifully. I guess that's like right around 24.25, 24.30-ish. Or 24.50-ish, I gather. But look at this. I mean, just shaky minute by minute, up and down, up and down. Steady trend off the lows, but very shaky. So don't try and look for like the most perfect breakout trade on that. Look for like second attempt moves. We ended up seeing it make the pop from 24.30-ish earlier today. That held pretty nicely. All right, let's see what else we got here, guys. Neo, maybe? So slow to pass on this one. Nikola, speaking of EV stocks. For as much as this moved up 96 million shares, again, my only issue is I feel like this like kind of exhausted out. It's going to kind of just consolidate, trade in a weaker range. You know what? I'll put this one on for right now. Just put it on at the end here, Nikola. Just tradable stock. This one I would like a little bit more than some of the others. And Chuck pointing out the buzzer right here. TGI new high of the day, up 16%. Yeah, another one. Huh. It's kind of like making the same move as PCG. Maybe both energy stocks. I don't know. And Triumph. All right. Well, either way, I mean, hey, it's a good call. Maybe I probably just skipped over this as I was jumping through the list, the gainer side there. All right. Now in total, we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I got room for one more if I really want. Let's just take a look at the cruise lines, airlines. We'll take a look at CODX, INO, and that'll do. Yeah, this is just pushing up. UAL, United Airlines, at least a bit more volatile. I would like this a bit more if I'm kind of choosing from the side list stocks, but either way, I'm just looking for something a little bit more volatile. INO is up 11%. I know Grant was talking about that just before. Pop just before at the highs. I do like that. Let's see. Caesar's going to be better from Chuck. Got room for one more. Which one is it going to be? This one's too expensive. We already got Penn on the list. Penn's near all-time highs. I don't believe Caesar's is. I'd say the same about MGM Casinos. I saw that get called out before. It's tradable. All right. I'll tell you what, guys. We have a really good list. We don't need to put every good looking stock on the list here for right now. I'll tell you, if there are stocks that we don't put on the list that you ended up doing pretty well on earlier today and you want to kind of keep a smaller eye on it, go ahead, because that's how we work together as a team here inside our trading room. So, if you end up seeing a stock like INO, make a pop, a new high of the day, we'll catch it early enough to the point where there's still time for us to try and get in. All right. Aside from that, though, man, we got DraftKings breaking new all-time highs. We got Penn National Gaming approaching new all-time highs. We got the VXRT trade running. We'll see if Sava has one more run left in it. We got a lot of these stocks that are still really active going into the end of this afternoon, guys. I was joking with a student earlier. When I say joking, I really mean it, because we're not going to reschedule class. But I was saying, man, it's like an afternoon like this where I know that we're going to have a good list. I wish that there were times where I just wasn't teaching as much to where we could just continue to trade. But hey, we got to fit class in somewhere, right? So typically on these Mondays and Fridays, there's not as much out there to work with. So who knows? Maybe this list will end up being a bust. There might not be much at all to trade. I hope that's not the case. But otherwise, I'm going to be looking forward to class, guys. I know that most of us will be joining us in class inside our trading room. Aside from that, I think that Rich and Fausto will be taking care of the rest of us going into the close. For all of us on social media, though, for the meantime, if you guys would like to learn more about Cyber Trading University, CTU, just make sure that you guys first like, subscribe, notify yourself right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. Otherwise, as we had said before, feel more than free to join us live inside our room. Again, we have our Traders Talk workshop tomorrow, a live presentation that we'll look to do. Abdallah here in the chat board asking what time will the afternoon class, what will the afternoon class be about? I'm sorry. So Abdallah, this afternoon we'll be talking about setting up your computer and platform. So, a fairly introductory class where we have a good chance and time to go over, the best system for day trading, getting yourself set up on the right broker, the right account, the right computer system altogether. The right number of monitors that you would look to follow and start, looking at a time. And then from there, we'll dive into the platform, what you should really look to have on your platform. I'll give you a hint. Everything that you see here on this screen is what we're going to look to go over. So, this is really like the starting point to begin our discussion on all these programs individually. All right, Jeff says, wow, I should be in that class. That should be the case for all of us watching this right now, especially for all of us on social media. So again, make sure that you guys join us live inside our trading room otherwise. And aside from that, I look forward to seeing all of you guys in class coming up. Take care.